and the different stories that ring true. Unfortunately, Diddy was a regular in Ibiza, and he also loved London. And in Ibiza with Eric Murillo and the notorious villa parties, these
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Can I please have your attention?
Right now, showtime. Are you ready? Are you ready for start time?
Let's find out. Ready, set, go.
We are the tribe of good.
It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic.
Remind me of the baby power.
Forget about the world now, cold it might seem. Forget about Brexit and COVID-19. Your life's not always a bowl of ice cream, but no matter, it's Sasha, the soul of ice cream.
Hi. You know, a lot of people are asking themselves, what is my life like right now? Am I truly happy? Do I really love my spouse, my kids, my house? Am I fulfilled sexually or creatively? Or am I just clawing my way through the years in the hope that the afterlife will offer what this life cannot?
Intuition with me, Sasha. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. It is Sasha here. If you are new to my channel, then welcome aboard. Hello, how are you doing? I'm sure your intuition and your angels guided you here. And if you are returning, then thank you. Hopefully you're a subscriber. Give us a thumbs up, and that helps me break the algorithm and just not being controlled, because the algorithm is controlled by the dark forces, unfortunately. Ow! Oh my God, the dark forces just got my foot then. Oh, my cat's there in the background. Anyway, so today we are going to be talking about music, and that means that my cat Rosie is going to join us because she loves music. Hello, Rosie. Oh, why? Why? Come to get involved. Come on, I'm not gonna get rid of you. So we're just sorry about that. Are you gonna go and sit there nicely? I think I'm gonna have to feed the cat. Let me pause 1 second. I have now fed the cat. She's having some cream, and hopefully she's gonna go to sleep on the printer. So today we are talking, well, I am talking about the music industry. Now, music is something that I could talk about all day long. It is the reason why I moved into the music industry, is how much I love music. Music is my constant companion and the thing that's never left me in my life. And I really love music, and I can chat about music and play music, and would happily play music and chat all day long. And DJs is what I look after, what I have been looking after. And DJs, well, they could quite happily play music all day long, really. I could unpack music and talk about it, like I said, all day. But today I really want to talk about something that's not being spoken about in the music industry, in the UK music industry specifically, and something that is very close to my heart. Now, I've wanted to talk about this for really some time, and I never got the opportunity before. I feel really passionately that I need to speak out, and that it is time that I really do kind of move forward, because I have been working in the music industry full time since 2000. I run a radio station called iStream Radio. That's not my first radio station. My first radio station was Ideal Club World. And for all those people that know me from Ideal, then hi, I'm still real and ideal. And what I mean by that is trying to make the world as real and ideal as we possibly can. That's what we all want. We all want to live in peace, love, and sweet harmony. And our love of music and our love of coming together, being a tribal thing, and our love of banging the drum and dancing together is a truly spiritual thing. And finally, my cat Rosie has decided to go to sleep. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I am here to talk about the music industry and where it's all gone very wrong. That is my cat. That is my other cat doing that. In light of the Puff Daddy, P Diddy, Sean Combs arrest, and all of the revelations as to what's been actually going on, and now it's actually come into the public sphere, is because he's been charged. Also because of the civil suit that over 120 victims, I believe at least 25 of them were minors, some as young as 9, and how he's been acting and how this kind of power domination, control, and manipulation has been going on in the music industry is something that has been being covered up for a long time. And something that has come to light in so many more ways for me as I've got older and as I've now become to understood what grooming is and how grooming works and how coercive and deeply manipulative it is. Um, and so much experience of looking after DJs and working as a club promoter, also as a commonly known as a door whore, um, doing the guest list and working the clubs of kind of Essex, Kent, London, and clubbing around the country before I actually moved into the dance music industry and working in it. And that happened in 2000. So for those of you that don't know me, I some know that I used to be a pastry model back in 1998, and then other people know me for being the barmaid at Raquel's and being involved in the Essex Boys case. And then there's a whole other underground of people that know me as Sasha in the dance music world, in the dance music industry. Say hello to all of you people, and thank you for tuning in. Um, Nothing really changes as to how I like to keep things real and authentic. And I have been to many, many, many parties. And fortunately, I did manage to not get on the guest list for Diddy's white party or any freak-offs in Ibiza. Because that's where he was very, very prevalent right back since kind of late 90s, maybe mid 90s. It's a small white island. It's also a hippie island. It's also on ley lines and has a magnetic rock called Esvedra. And it's very, very spiritual place, but for all of those kind of reasons as well, being magnetic, the demons do know what a wonderful and magical island it is. And it is a truly magical island. I absolutely love Ibiza and hello to all my Ibiza friends. And I have partied with many people in Ibiza, but I have had all kinds of kind of dodgy experiences as well, as you can imagine. But I have managed to keep myself safe over the years and keep my mental health strong and managed to not get sexually groomed by anybody in a position of power and influence that says, I can make you famous, I can put you on TV, I can make your dreams come true, I can make you a famous DJ. And it's never that obvious in how they do it. Obviously, that isn't grooming. Grooming is, excuse me while I look like I'm picking my nose, but it's actually my witchy, itchy nose. It's actually much more deeply coercive than that. You can be taken by shock from somebody's blatantness. You know, you go for an audition at a job and then somebody's naked on the casting couch. um, or you go for a casting at a big mansion, or a meeting, and that particular person has got other ideas for that meeting, or you invite somebody for a meeting with you, and that person has other ideas for that meeting. And if that doesn't work to begin with, they may try much more coercive and manipulative tactics to groom you into what they want you to do. I had an awful lot of experience with the understanding of this from going through the page three industry, or the glamour girl industry, as we should say, which is actually the sex industry. And I experienced an awful lot of things. And I will also be talking more about those. I was stopped in my tracks by a certain individual that runs the sex industry in the UK, and is very, very powerful and influential as well. And he is one of these types. So that was the sex industry, but I was a raver at that time, and I had been raving since 1994, and a massive, massive lover of my community on the dance floor, my mates that I met, and had a huge, huge passion for house music. And of course, we were doing ecstasy back in those days, but I was never a hardcore caner, unlike some people. And some people could pack it away, as they say, and would get in all kinds of much worse states, I suppose. And like, I have no judgment on anything, like, but I do like to adhere to responsible moral behavior wherever you are. You know, we can all let loose, have a good time, have a laugh, and all of this kind of thing. But uh, unfortunately, this is where it is open to abuse. And this is where we have seen many an influential person, whether it be Weinstein, whether it be Epstein, or whether it be Diddy, or whether it be other very influential people we know that have been grooming and getting people to do sexual stuff to as part of the process, the initiation process, or the in the club process, or the after party process, or the freaking damn degrading, degrading, um, uh, degradation of the union that is coming together and having sex. So you know, for me, like, clubbing and parties doesn't, and sex doesn't mix, actually. For me, I've never been one that was drawn to orgies, or was like, oh yeah, let's go to an orgy tonight. That'll be fun. No, it's just not for me. It's not something that, and I kind of bucked, well, not bucked the trend, but when I went into pastry modeling, I genuinely went into and was like, I get my boobs out on the beach in Spain, and that's all I'm going to be doing here. So if people want to pay me for it and everything, then that's what I can do. I was naive to think that that's what it was all about. Very naive. I was soon to learn that that was not what it was all about. Objectification, titillation, and I think everybody should celebrate the divine feminine form as we should celebrate the divine masculine, and that goes for each and every one of people's divine feminine form. You know, their own form. It's it's our bodies to embody, but and obviously we are attracted to the opposite sex, and we desire. That's kind of where, well, desire can lead to all kinds of temptation where things can go wrong. And so, you know, love is what we are all looking for originally. And when love goes wrong, and when love gets twisted and gets tainted, and it all gets very twisted and dark, is where all of this kind of horrible nasty drugging and doing these awful sexual acts. And it's really is satanic. It really is. It really, really is. Unfortunately, because that is what all of those horrible, sinful behaviors and excess money and drugs and drink and fame and being manipulated, so being used by your fat, like, so they go, I hold the dream, and then they give you the dream and they pump money into you, and then you go, but you know, "Oh, I've got this on you now because I was at that party and there was a camera and this video, and we are hearing about Bieber and have been forced to do stuff to Diddy, and this is well, just one of many tapes, I'm sure. Um, and this kind of degradation or awful behavior is what has been manipulating not just the music industry, but the media industry, the stage industry, the arts, the talents, the you know, all the bright young things. Michael Jackson was the most abused and groomed and awfully treated boy in Hollywood. Um, but there's been many, and he's just the big famous one. And the reason that of he's gone, like many, like Whitney Houston, like Prince, like Amy Winehouse, like so many of these people that have lost Kurt Cobain, lost their lives at very, very early points through drugs and drink. And we're like, what? We thought they were having the time of their lives and they were fame and fortune. And it used to be known as rock and roll. And I, and then you see them gone. And so who would want to be famous and dead at 27? Not me. Um, I cannot say, I will not, I cannot, and I do not give any power to the devil, to the demon. I will not sell my soul. I will, that is my boundary. It has managed to keep me safe, but you know, just about, because you have to fight some off, and sometimes you're not in a position where you're able to do that. Like, I've been in some really tricky positions, but fortunately, it wasn't like in a room full of 10 black blokes, big, massive ones, who are on some right royal amount of gear and drugs and drink and think they are literally the prize devil in disguise, you know, like they think they are God's gift to uh be able to do what they want. And that's where that kind of satanic, ritualistic, dark magic comes in. Now, I have been in the music industry working full time since I became a promoter in Ibiza in Sunset for Sunday Central in 2000. I was running a club night at Eden, which was every fortnight. We did 7 parties. We started with the Doctors and Nurses party, and for that summer, Ibiza uncovered 2 documentary team followed us, and they followed us all summer, and it was quite an eventful. It was a very eventful, mad, crazy summer. And some really hardcore things happened in Ibiza, and I've seen some awful, awful stuff. Um, Fortunately, I have never witnessed any of this sexual degradation. I think I've just always been running a mile, been like getting out early and that kind of thing. So, and because I don't want to get so mentally obliterated that I don't know what I'm doing. And but it's a fine line, and people can take you. And unfortunately, I was spiked just over a year ago. I will talk about that at a further time. But this was the first time that I was ever been spiked. Well, maybe once before, but this was the first time I really, really know about it. And it was clearly GHB. And I now understand what that blackout's like. The blackout after being drugged with GHB is complete darkness, disorientation. You have no memory whatsoever. You do not know what happened to you. You can't, it is complete blackness. And I know that this kind of blackness really does something to your mind and it stays there for kind of a while. For me, it was there for about 3 months of kind of darkness, and then it was like a pop, and I was really pushing, and other people were pushing, and it was quite strange. But it, when you realize and understand, and then you put two and two together. Fortunately, I had some of my best male friends with me who were not involved in spiking. And for that reason, I wasn't taken off to God knows where and nothing worse happened to me, but it quite easily could. And I sit here, um, unfortunately, having had the great awakening to wake up to the fact that people that say they have your best interests at heart or are shouting a good game often don't. And this is what we have in this scenario with grooming in Hollywood, grooming in the music industry, and the people involved and the network involved. I watched Jaguar Riot um, on Piers Morgan. Now it's trending today that Piers Morgan has apologized. Well, Piers Morgan hasn't really got any choice, has he? Because he is controlled also. He is controlled media. And he has no choice. And he kind of knew that when Jaguar started spilling it, he was going, well, they're not here to defend themselves, la la la. He kind of knew that she was like, whoa, here goes the defamation, possibly, if, but it's only, the actual um honest person's response to that would be, Piers, this is completely untrue. I would like to come on with Beyonce and have a chat live on air and take any questions that anybody would like to ask me about the Diddy scenario, about everything that's been going on, and anything I can legally talk about, I will do. That's what the honest response is. The dishonest person who is guilty immediately sends cease and desist. You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to talk about me like that. Blah, 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 blah. But they don't actually come out and speak themselves. And that's what we are witnessing. So Diddy had a lot of friends in Ibiza. Eric Murillo, who is now deceased of a ketamine overdose, apparently, was one of them. And it was back in 2020 when the Eric Murillo revelations happened, that my everything that I hadn't woken up to, my blinkers came off. I started talking to an awful lot of people, and I was incredibly shocked by the things that I was being told that I knew were true. I can tell when I'm talking to a victim, and mostly, especially if it's somebody I know, and the different stories that ring true. Unfortunately, Diddy was a regular in Ibiza, and he also loved London. And in Ibiza with Eric Murillo and the notorious villa parties, these white ones, I believe, the ones that were kind of the known ones, because the freak-offs were much more like, this is the dark ticket party, I believe. Probably after clubs like DC10 and things like this. And unfortunately, many DJs have worked with Diddy. We are talking David Guetta, Guy Gerber. There is many actually, and I need to get a list, so I will. I published a list, but I'm sure you can tell me in the comments if you like to, all you DJs, all you train spotters out there. Let's get a nice DJ discography of collaborations with Diddy and when they were made and what they're all about. I believe the one with Guy Gerber was named Ketamine. Interesting. And there is an article about how they wanted to call it GHB, I believe. Is that right? I know there's that article. it is astonishing how barefaced and arrogant these demon people are. These people that have been taken over by deadly demonic sins, and they carry on in plain sight. Now, but just by people's silence, not talking about who um, is control of all of these people in the music industry. And we've seen an awful lot of people get taken to the dark side. And who is taking them to the dark side? There is always somebody with the money and with all of the big sweeties and with everything that's going on. And now Lucien Grange has been named in the lawsuit, the original lawsuit. I believe now somehow there has been a retraction, but I'm sure it's not retracted in the civil lawsuit. He has denied all allegations. And of course, that does always happen, but that's not to say just because he has denied it, it is not to be discussed. I do think we need to be looking at the outcomes of the people that have been going to the likes of Universal and the major record companies, and what kind of music they've then put out, how they've been, how they are, how long they've lasted, how many people are on the lost list, like Jaguar said, because there's lots of people on the lost list and they're only the ones that you know about. So many people have lost their lives from sex trafficking. And this is the network that is being uncovered by the feds and the civil US attorney, Tony Busby. So anybody with any information, anybody that wants to come clean or wants to speak to the attorney, because there is a lower threshold when it comes to civil. He described it very well as in criminal, you need beyond reasonable doubt, and in civil law, it's more likely than not is where these kind of decisions get made. So that is very interesting. Now, I love music. I play music on my radio station all day, and I've had to get really like, oh, what do I play? And there was at one point, people going like, Michael Jackson, you can't play anything. Well, Michael Jackson's music, he was talking the truth and speaking the an awful lot. And you have to remember that his music, a lot of it was made by Quincy Jones. There was an awful lot of control of this young black Jackson 5 member who was such a talent from the start, but abused by his father, I believe. And there's an awful lot of abuse at Motown. And this is what is being uncovered in the 30, kind of 40-year history of stars of stage and screen and music across the board, like Avicii, are losing their lives in tragic circumstances, suspicious circumstances often, and who's looking after them and where the duty of care is and why they're ending up like this and why they are kind of like living in this arrogance. It's like parenting. It comes from the top. Who's looking after them? Where's the parents? Don't the parents care? We've seen what happened with Britney Spears, and and you know, where is Britney now? What's going on with Britney? The list really does go on. Sinead O'Connor. I have started a lost list. I'll see if I can bring my lost list up while I'm talking, but it's all very dark. It is really dark. And when I started to try talking about it, just a little bit, at Brighton Music Conference, where I had been, well, the longest standing female member on the board, after this all happened, I started talking about it in 2021. Well, I tried actually to do a Me Too panel, but no, I was not allowed to do any of that. And I was quite quickly, within the next year, evicted from this. Now, this is a place where Paul Oakenfold and Dubfire and Fatboy Slim and various people from the BBC and people like Eric Murillo would have frequented. Um, if anybody would booked him. And many DJs know this place, and many DJs know me because really, because I've been in the DJ world for the last 25 years, if anybody knows me the most, it's DJs. I've looked after thousands. Well, no, I've looked after many DJs. Thousands have gone through my radio doors, and management and agency, and I've booked many to play for me in the club. But in my club, we don't have dirty freak offs, and we don't abuse people, and we don't sell people for money, and we don't groom people. And I've seen literally basically nearly every DJ that has broken through, been taken to the dark side and really been lost to their music suddenly sucks their ass, and they just really don't, they're just not looking healthy. And I start to hear horror stories and they never speak to me again. And it's just like all of a sudden you've just been taken by BBC or one of the major labels. Most of the high profile record labels that you know in the dance music industry are owned by the majors now. So, and they get taken, and it just, yeah, it looks like, oh my God, we're playing on the biggest stages and we've got all the money and we're living in mansions. But I ask you, are you really happy? Because it really, I can tell in the music, and I can tell all the way people deal with me and way they respect themselves and other people. And I know what goes down at the after party. I know how bad it gets. I know, I see these people. I know what's been going on. I managed to stay away from it, but I know. I talk. When you know, you know. That was the name of Carl Cox's night, most recent night. When you know, you know. So who are the DJs that were been hanging around with Diddy? Where are the people that have been complicit and enabling this kind of behavior in our music? They have used the magic of music, our love for the music, our love for coming together and coming together tribally, to the beat of a drum and to kind of sing and dance, which is what we do. It's what we've always done as people, and it doesn't matter where you go in the world, people sing and dance and come together in kind of tribes or communities. And they have used this magic, and you can tell when you listen to the lyrics, when you listen to what they're singing about, when you listen to um how the frequencies of it, a lot of it sounds like everything is awesome. And it's really not a kind of nice frequency. It doesn't make you feel good. Um, it really, it really does shine through. And then there's also how they behave and how they act. So when they're glorying around on their Instagram and giving it a look of me with all these girls, and you've got these 60-year-old DJs with these 19-year-old girls that are half naked, draped across the car or draped across the DJ box. And they look really noncy, basically, really like, ugh, it looks just wrong. And then they're like, yeah, I'm £50,000 a set and I'm worth it. Oh, yes. Don't you think I'm worth it? Come on, I'm going to suck your energy. And I'm like, thank you for sucking up to me. That is what these people are like. I swear to God, they really are. It is quite astonishing. Um, how bad it has got. And I've been talking about this for some time. It's where my original radio station, the Ideal Club World, was kind of born from. My frustration with how how just wrong things have got. They've been taking the fun out of things, been using abusing people, just being really wrong, and everything had become about the money. Nobody was playing good music. Everybody was just trying to shark and rinse everybody else. And I was like, what am I doing in this music industry? But then the magic of the music keeps pulling me back, and it keeps saying, no, like, I have ducked out of all of this, and I realised that many people are part of the grooming process, part of this network without even realising. But then there's the people at the top that do know, and the symbolism will be their downfall also. Um, when you are wise and discerning to this kind of arrogance and just kind of greed and all of these things, then you can see through these people. So I would like to say to anybody that has got information, they would like to speak to Tony Busby, the US attorney, I think you should get in touch. Anybody in Ibiza, anybody with similar cases, people that have been associated in this network, because this is a network that we need to get rid of. And they need to be held accountable for their actions and their crimes. And if they are complicit, because they were being blackmailed or being scared or because of those things, they need to tell that truth. And then we can really make sure this doesn't happen. There is no safeguarding in the music industry, in the media industry. I see no safeguarding whatsoever. I didn't even know what safeguarding was before everything kicked off with my brother-in-law's and my husband's family. And because I've been working in the unregulated wild west of the music industry, and it, as much as I love music and I love having a good time, I will not sit by and let everybody stay silent about this, because so many people I know out there, and I am addressing each and every one of you that have known me over the last 25, 30 years in this music industry, in the media industry, or however it may be. Time is up for this kind of level of conduct and behavior. We cannot let our kids be taken when they are talented, bright young things and then get taken by these kind of people that make them do all kinds of degradation just to get off on it because they're sick motherfuckers. And it is Schadenfreude. It is where humanity has gone wrong. So I shout out to everybody that I know. And if you are it is time to choose sides. And if you're on the side of the good and you do want to make sure that we do be able to have nice times and not be controlled by this kind of establishment that has really affected the mental health, physical health, and lives of so many of our music family. And we are all brothers and sisters, sisters and brothers. So we can find the promised land, but only if we come together. That is my primal scream. So, well, come on, we can do it. Like, let's raise this frequency. Let's call out these demons. Let's stop giving airtime, love, money, or anything to these people that are just glorying around going, I need 20 grand a set, 30 grand a set, and I'm going to put out shit music, and we're going to farm all of these kids in to watch this TikTok girl that can't mix to save her life and really probably needs sectioning by the looks of things. So, this is what we're doing. I don't mean that horribly, but they do look like they're having some kind of fit sometimes. And that's probably because they're like over what is it? Over vibrating because of being plugged into their phone and matrix and some kind of fucked up frequency all day. That is what it does to them. That's what we see on TikTok. So I call out to everybody, the time for this old guard and this demonic, satanic, horrible, mucked up stuff that's going on in the music industry. The time is out, and the media industry. The time is up. We see you. It is over, and we will not give you any more of our hard-earned energy or cash. Thank you. Good night, and over and out. It's not a night yet. Good afternoon. Over and out.